Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Talk Talk Speak podcast. Today, we're diving into something everyone does, ordering food.
Right. Seems pretty basic on the surface.
Totally. But, our mission here is always to take sources and find those crucial, maybe surprising insights. And today's source material does just that with ordering a pizza, believe it or not.
Yeah, the source is this guy called Mastering the Call, a university-level guide to ordering pizza in English.
Okay, university-level pizza ordering. That's the phrase that jumps right out. What on earth does that mean?
Well, it's actually a really clever premise. It uses ordering pizza over the phone, like as a super detailed case study. The point isn't just getting the right pizza, though.
Right.
It's more about boosting your practical English skills, building confidence, especially when you don't have those visual cues.
Ah, okay. Like you
Yeah.
can't see the person, you can't point at the menu board.
Exactly. Everything hinges on the language.
Mm.
Clarity, vocabulary, active listening, it all gets put to the test.
Which makes sense why the source picks phone ordering. It strips away all that other context we usually rely on.
Precisely. And the guide argues that successfully navigating that kind of call, well, it gives you a real confidence boost for other interactions. Think booking appointments, calling customer service, things like that.
So it's a foundational skill, really, but still university level. Is it making it sound super academic or something?
Not really academic in that sense. It's more about approaching this everyday thing with an awareness of sophistication, looking beyond just the basic phrases to appreciate, word choice, sentence structure, the dynamics of the conversation.
Okay, I think I'm getting it. It's about seeing the potential for improvement and precision, even in, asking for extra cheese. It fosters this idea of continuous learning from everyday stuff.
You got it. And the guide really digs into the language, starting with some key vocabulary. It picks out 12 words relevant to ordering pizza. But then it shows how these same words operate in much broader, sometimes way more complex contexts. That's where the university-level perspective really comes in.
All right, let's unpack some of these. What's first? One I imagine is pretty central. Order.
Yep, order. We all think ask for food. But the source immediately expands on that. It gives examples beyond just requesting something.
Like what?
Well, like how a company might order new software licenses using procurement software, or how philosophers might discuss whether societies can order themselves justly.
Whoa, okay. Order themselves justly. That's definitely a step up from, I'd like to order a pizza.
Right. Or even how a researcher might need to order their findings chronologically for a paper. It shows the sheer range of the word.
That really drives home the point about grasping different applications. Okay, what's next? Something related to getting the order right, maybe.
Exactly. The word confirm.
Like, can you confirm my address?
Yes, but again, the source highlights the nuance. It often implies giving assurance, removing doubt, making something firm, sometimes in quite formal or high-stakes ways.
So beyond just checking.
Yeah. Think about a research team trying to confirm their experimental results through replication, or maybe an ambassador having to confirm their government's commitment to a treaty.
Okay.
Or even how someone's actions might confirm or fail to confirm their claims of innocence. It carries a bit more weight, suggesting precision is crucial.
That makes sense. It's about establishing certainty. And that need for precision leads nicely into the next word, I bet. Specify.
You guessed it. To specify means to name or state something explicitly, in detail.
Which you absolutely need to do in ordering pizza. I'd like to specify no onions.
Exactly. But the guide gives other examples, like needing to specify the research methodologies in a grant proposal. If you're vague, you probably won't get the funding.
Right.
Or how contractual agreements need to specify obligations very clearly to avoid disputes. Or even an art historian needing to specify the exact elements of a painting they're analyzing to support their critique.
It's the same principle, isn't it? Whether it's toppings or contract terms, lack of specificity leads to problems.
Precisely. The outcome depends on that precision. Okay, moving on to words maybe more directly related to the food itself. Flavor.
The taste, basically. Pepperoni flavor, mushroom flavor.
Right, the quality of taste. But the source points out how often we use it metaphorically.
Ah, interesting. Like?
Well, they give examples like discussing regional flavors and how they connect to cultural identity, or how a novel might be described as having a certain narrative flavor.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Or even in marketing, developing a new product flavor designed to appeal to a specific demographic. It's about the overall character or atmosphere, not just literal taste.
That's a great example of how these simple words really expand. What about crust? Pizza base, right?
The bready foundation, yes. But the source uses this to illustrate polysemy.
Yeah.
One word having multiple meanings.
Okay.
So besides pizza crust, they give examples like studying the Earth's crust in geology.
Ah, right. Tectonic plates and all that.
Yeah. Or an artisan baker who's obsessed with perfecting the crust on their sourdough bread. And then there's the metaphorical upper crust of society.
Huh. So it can be literal bread, the planet's surface, or even social class. That really shows how context is everything.
Exactly. The guide uses these examples to hammer that home. Next up, preference.
What you like. My preference is definitely for thin crust pizza.
Your personal choice, yeah. The source broadens this out. It talks about how understanding consumer preference is vital for shaping corporate policy.
Makes sense. Companies want to know what we prefer.
Or, in fields like aesthetics, the debate between subjective aesthetic preference and trying to find objective criteria for judging art.
Oh, interesting contrast.
And even in tech, how algorithms are designed to learn user preferences to personalize content. The source also makes a really important point here about sensitivity.
Oh.
It notes that preference often reflects judgments and can drive trends, but it specifically mentions the sociolinguistic issue around using, say, sexual orientation rather than sexual preference, highlighting how word choice matters and evolves.
Wow, yeah, that's a crucial distinction. It shows these aren't just abstract vocabulary lessons. They connect to real-world communication norms and sensitivities.
Absolutely. It's about that deeper awareness. Okay, another verb, inquire.
Asking questions.
Asking for information, yes, but the source suggests it often implies a slightly more formal or thorough investigation than simply ask.
Okay, give me an example.
Like, an ethics committee might need to inquire formally into allegations of misconduct, or scholars might inquire about the historical antecedents of a current event.
So it's more official, maybe.
Or just more thorough. You might also inquire about a company's financial stability before making a major investment. It suggests digging a bit deeper than a casual question.
Got it. So maybe not, can I ask about deals, but could I inquire about any current deals if you wanted to sound a bit more formal?
Precisely. Now here's one the source points out can be tricky. Pick up.
Like, I'll pick up the pizza.
Right, but the guide focuses on the noun, form, the act of picking up, or the place where it happens. It specifically contrasts it with the verb phrase, pick up.
Ah, okay. So the noun pick up.
Yeah. Examples include a logistics company optimizing routes for efficient pickup and delivery, or a school having a designated student pickup point.
Right, the place.
Or even economists noticing a definite pickup in market activity, meaning an increase or recovery. So distinguishing the noun, the pickup, from the verb to pick up is key for clarity.
Yeah, I can see how that could trip people up. The pickup is at 6 versus I will pick up at 6. Subtle but important.
It's a common learner pitfall, the source notes. Next, a pretty straightforward one, available.
Easy. Is it there? Can I get it? Are vegetarian toppings available?
Exactly. Easy to get, ready for use. But the source shows how commonly it appears in more formal or academic contexts, too, making research data sets available to other scientists, or describing how few positions are available in a competitive job market, or ensuring emergency services are readily available and, importantly, accessible to everyone. It's simple, but fundamental.
True. Used everywhere. What about approximately?
Meaning almost, but not quite exact. Your pizza will be ready in approximately 20 minutes.
The classic pizzeria estimate.
Exactly. It indicates an estimation. The source points out this is vital in many fields where exact numbers aren't always possible or maybe not necessary initially.
Such as?
Like an archaeologist dating an artifact to be approximately 2,000 years old. Or scientists finding their replicated experiment results are approximately consistent with the original study.
Okay.
Or even just estimating a long car journey will take approximately 6 hours, depending on traffic. It manages expectations.
Whether for pizza or for scientific data, it signals uncertainty appropriately.
You got it. And the last one they focus on is deal.
Like a bargain, a 2-for-1 pizza deal. Or like, what's the deal? Meaning, what's happening?
Both. The source highlights its flexibility. As a noun, it can mean a bargain, transaction, an agreement, and it works across different levels of formality.
So informal to formal.
Totally. Examples range from a major corporation finalizing a multi-billion-dollar acquisition deal to historians analyzing the socioeconomic reforms of the New Deal.
Right, the historical program.
All the way to international negotiators trying to broker a complex peace deal.
That's amazing. The same word we use for a cheap pizza offer applies to these massive, complex agreements.
It really shows the power and the range packed into seemingly simple words. Going through them like this, you see how the vocabulary for just ordering a pizza is actually foundational for so much other communication.
It absolutely elevates the whole task. And the guide doesn't just list words.
Right, sure.
It shows them being used in a sample dialogue.
Yeah, exactly. They include a fictional Domino's dialogue between a customer named Alex and an employee. Alex needs to order 2 large pizzas for pickup.
And the goal is just clear communication using this vocabulary.
Pretty much. It shows Alex initiating the order, then needing to specify the size, type, stating a preference for the crust, asking about vegetarian flavors that might be available.
And asking about any special deals, right? And confirming the details.
Yep. Alex makes sure to confirm the final order and price for accuracy, and then uses inquire to ask about the approximately time for pickup. It flows quite naturally.
So the source analyzes this dialogue afterwards. What does it point out?
Well, it highlights how the vocabulary gets integrated smoothly at different points in the call, the opening, the details, checking options, confirming, closing. But it also stresses the communication strategies.
Strategies. You mean like being polite, using please and thank you.
That's part of it, definitely.
Yeah.
But also strategies like actively confirming, understand. Alex says something like, so just to confirm, which is really important on the phone.
Yeah, to make sure you both heard the same thing.
And asking clarifying questions, like about the vegetarian options or the deals. The dialogue follows a pretty typical structure for these kinds of calls. State your purpose, give the details, clarify options, confirm, arrange logistics, and close.
And understanding that structure probably helps reduce anxiety, right? You kind of know what to expect next.
Exactly. It's not just about knowing the words, but knowing how and when to deploy them within that conversational framework. And crucially, the source emphasizes that this isn't just about getting pizza delivered hot.
Right. This is the big takeaway, isn't it? The transferability.
Absolutely. The skills and the vocabulary are useful everywhere. The guide revisits some of those nuances we talked about, like order, meaning, request, or range, or the different levels of formality with words like inquire or deal.
And those multiple meanings, like for flavor or crust, paying attention to that stuff is what builds real sophistication, I guess.
It really does. And they offer practical ways to solidify this, things like role-playing the dialogue.
Yeah.
Or adapting it. Maybe you're ordering sushi instead, or you need delivery, or perhaps there's a problem with the order you need to resolve.
Or even creating your own dialogues for different situations, like making a doctor's appointment.
Exactly. These aren't just abstract exercises. They're about practicing for real life. And the transferable skills identified are, well, fundamental.
Like the clarity and precision needed for pizza toppings.
Is the same clarity you need giving instructions at work, explaining something complex, or going over an agreement.
And the active listening you have to do on the phone.
Is essential in meetings, classes, understanding colleagues, friends, family, everything.
Politeness, formality, knowing when to use which register.
Crucial for navigating social and professional worlds effectively.
And just managing information, structuring your request, asking good questions, summarizing back. That's key everywhere.
Definitely. The source also mentions common pitfalls, which is useful. Things like that noun-verb confusion with pick up, or potential pronunciation hurdles, and the danger of relying too much on direct translation from your first language, which often doesn't work well. Just being aware of them helps.
So, wow. We started with ordering a pizza, something totally mundane, and we've ended up unpacking a whole toolkit of vocabulary, communication strategies, and widely applicable skills. It really shows how even simple interactions are rich learning opportunities.
That's really the core message of the guide. If you can master a micro scenario like this one, approaching it thoughtfully, looking at the details, it genuinely contributes to your overall macro-level ability to communicate effectively and confidently in English. So maybe here's a final thought to chew on, pun intended. Think about the level of precision and nuance you bring to your everyday chats. Ordering coffee, asking directions, making plans. Could focusing more consciously on those interactions actually be building the exact communication muscles you need for your biggest presentations, your toughest negotiations, or your most important academic work? Every conversation, maybe, is a chance to practice at that university level.
A great way to think about it. Making every day a training ground. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.